Hi, welcome to an unboxing and first impressions type video sort of thing. I have evidence that it is a first impressions because it's an unboxing, because it's not in a box, but this has arrived, it is still sealed, and I'm assuming, since it's the only thing that I've ordered off of Amazon that hasn't arrived yet, that this will be my Eberron book. Eberron Rising from the Last War. I would have preferred to get the one with the alternate cover, but that wasn't available on Amazon.co.uk. So, just bin that. Voila! We have it! Eberron Rising from the Last War. Nice cover. It's actually slightly textured on the back. I don't know whether that's intentional or whether it's just a byproduct of shipping and whatnot, but that's nice. I don't think that the other books I have are, but I don't have any campaign setting books apart from the Tal'Dorei one, the Tal'Dorei campaign guide, so yeah, let's have a look-see on the inside. Ooh. Oh man, that is a strong spine. Okay, so we have a Warforged with battle axe. Very nice. Very clearly a Warforged made out of wood and metal, which is a point of contention for me. I feel as though Warforged should be able to pass as human in some settings, but obviously Eberron in that setting, maybe not. Okay, so we have page uno, the contents page. I don't know how well you can see that, but we have, well, the headings are Welcome to Eberron. We have character creation, we have Corvair Gazetteer, we have Shan, City of Towers, Building Eberron Adventures, Treasures, Friends and Foes, and that is it. So, the parts that I've been most interested in are the character creation. I will go through the history of Eberron, life in Corvair, A Magical World, The Last War, and The Draconic Prophecy in my own time. But they probably haven't changed a great deal since 3.5, so anyone who's interested in Eberron might already know about that. For 5e, however, we have the races, all of them other than Kalashtar, Shifters, Warforged, and Changelings are the normal races, but they have been reskinned and repurposed. They've still got the same names, such as dwarves, dragonborn, elves, gnomes, goblins, half-elves, halflings, etc. But they work differently, have different backgrounds and whatnot in Eberron to fit the campaign setting. However, Changelings, Kalashtar, Shifters, and Warforged are Eberron exclusive. So I'm very much looking forward to reading what they are. Currently, I'm most interested in the Kalashtar and the Warforged, because I'm currently playing a Warforged using the Unearthed Arcana rules, and when they leave the campaign or die, I'm moving to play a Kalashtar, so I need to update according to them. The Dragon Marks I'm incredibly fascinated by, and the Alchemist, the Artificer class, particularly the Battlesmith and the Artificer infusions, because the Warforged I'm playing is an Artificer, and Artificer is one of the classes that I think best suits me. The group patrons is a good idea, but it's something that I sort of do already. I already offer personalised ones for my campaign settings. Then we have the treasures I'm quite interested in. So that's what we're going to go through. So, jumping straight to Changelings, we go to page 17, voila, and Changelings. So far I'm okay. I like the art. I don't like the style, but it's well put together. With a homunculus on her shoulder, the Gnome Artificer V1 brandishes her arcane firearm as a heavily armoured Warforged stands guard. See, that's fine and all. However, gotta say, like, the homunculus and the firearm and whatnot, they're great, but why is the Warforged so small? not an option, as far as I'm aware so far. Changelings. Long ago, there was a woman named Jess, and she had 100 children. Her rivals conspired against her and swore to kill her children. Jess begged the sovereigns for help, but their only answer was the wind and rain. In the depths of her despair, a lonely traveller took her hand. I will protect your children if they follow my path. Let them wander the world. They may be shunned and feared, but they will never be destroyed. Jess agreed, and the traveller gave her his cloak. When she draped it over her children, their old faces melted away, and they could be whoever they wanted to be. And so it remained. Though the children are shunned by all, the gift of the traveller protects them still. That? Okay. So, why can't I remember? What is the name of Jester? Jester from Critical Role. Because I'm sure that this is the same. I've read something similar to that before, because I've looked into Eberron in the past. But I like it, because it just made me think. The Traveller, who is predominantly lowercase t, but in that last, the gifts of the Traveller protects them still. That's a capital T. And the Traveller is one of the Dark Six, which is a set of gods in the Eberron setting. And so, makes me think, Jester is called Jess for short. And her god is the Traveller. Coinky dink? Probably. But maybe not, because I know Laura Bailey likes getting to her lore. But just in itself, I like that as a canon backstory. They are the hidden people. Wherever humans live, changelings reside also. The question is whether their presence is known. They're born to one of three paths, raised in stable communities of changelings, orphans, and nomads. Okay, so we have changeling names. Might use different names depending on their masks, but they're like standard names of things like Aun, Bin, Cass, Dox, Fee, or Phi, Haz, Jin, Lam, Mas, Nix, Ot, Pike, P-A-I-K, Ruse, Sim, Tooks, Vil, and Yug. So simple and monosyllabic. There are often accents to a changeling's names that are expressed through shapeshifting. Some single skins will most likely miss. Okay. So, ability scores, charisma, one of your choice. That's pretty much the same as far as I can tell. We have 30-foot speed, size is medium. Shape changer, it's an action. Appearance and voice. Coloration, hair length and sex. Height and weight, but not so much that your size changes. Appear as a member of another race, though none of the game's statistics change. Can't duplicate the appearance of a creature you can't have seen, and must adopt the form that has the same basic arrangement of limbs. So you can't give yourself 3 legs and 1 arm if you had 2 legs and 2 arms. Your clothing and equipment aren't changed. You stay in this new form until you use your action to revert to your true form, or until you die. Or, theoretically, I'm assuming you can't go by rules written there, you can change into a new form. You don't have to revert back to your true form and then back to a new form. That's how I'd rule it anyway. Changeling instincts, you gain proficiency with 2 of the following skills: Deception, Insight, Intimidation, and Persuasion. That's fair. And you learn Common and 2 languages, which makes sense because you're a changeling. Then we have dwarves, with a cool picture of a dwarf with a tentacle whip. They are different, but not incredibly so. There aren't any in-game stat changes so far for these things. Oh, there is a feat, however. Are there dwarf feats? Not that I can see, but there is the elf feat, Revenant Blade. Prerequisite elf. You are descended from a master of double-bladed scimitar, and some of that mastery has been passed on to you. Increase strength or dex by 1 to a max of 20. When holding a double-bladed scimitar with 2 hands, you gain +1 to AC, and it has the finesse property whilst you wield it. That's pretty cool. There is the Gnomes of Zilargo, Gnomes of the 5 Nations, then there's Goblinoids. Bugbear traits. I'm assuming Yeah, as far as I can tell, the bugbear traits are the same as inside of Volo's guide. I'm assuming that goes for the goblins and hobgoblins as well, but it's nice that they put them in here, so that they don't... You can just buy this, and it'll give you the goblinoid races as well as the Eberron exclusive races. We have the humans and the halflings. Humans and dragon marks. 5 different dragon marks appear among humans. Yada yada yada. Kalashtar. I am Kalashtar, born of 2 worlds. Over 1,000 years ago, my ancestor bound her bloodline to the spirit Kashtai, and I am a child of that union. Kashtai moves within me. Her memories come to me in dreams, and at times her voice whispers in the silence of my mind. As long as at least one of my sisters is alive, Kashtai will survive, and as long as she lives, she will fight in Lashtavar. A quote from the Kashtai, Servant of the Light. The Kalashtar are a compound people created from the union of humanity and renegade spirits from the plane of dreams, spirits called Quarry. Kalashtar are often seen as wise spiritual people with great compassion for others. There's an unmistakable alien quality to the Kalashtar, though, as they are haunted by the conflicts of otherworldly spirits. So, very much interested. We have a nice picture of a Kalashtar lady, I assume. Kalashtar quirks. You can roll a d10, or pick one, or make up your own. You try to understand the motives and feelings of your enemies. You prefer using telepathy over speaking out loud. You feel a strong drive to protect the innocent. You apply dream logic to mundane situations. You discuss things out loud with your quarry spirit. You suppress your emotions and rely on logic. You are strongly influenced by the emotions of those around you. You prefer to find non-violent solutions to problems whenever possible. You are driven by a warrior spirit and will fight for any noble cause. You're obsessed with the dreaming dark conspiracies. And then we have Kalashtar names. We have the quarry names and the standard Kalashtar names, because the Kalashtar have their person themselves and the noble spirit quarry that they are bound with. So some examples of the quarry names. I hope I'm not pronouncing anything terribly. We have Ashana, Ashtai, Ishara, Harath, Kard, Kosh, Melk, Nari, Tana, Tari, Tash, Ulad, Vakri, and Vash. As far as Kalashtar go, we have Koratash, Dalavash, Dolashara, Halakosh, Koratari, Koratana, Lanhareth, Molavakri, Nevitash, Sorashana, Torashtai, Valakad, and Vishara. Not bad. We are hunted by nightmares. The virtuous spirits tied to the Kalashtar fled from the dream realm to escape evil spirits that dominate it. Believe that through meditation and devotion they can change the fundamental nature of Dalquar, which is the dream realm. Shifting the balance from darkness to light, Kalashtar focus on acts of devotion known as the Path of Light. Through the force known as the Dreaming Dark, these monsters manipulate the folk of Corvair. Okay, yeah. So we're not actually hunted by nightmares, because severed from dreams, Kalashtar sleep but don't connect to the plane of dreams as other creatures do. Instead, their mind draws from the memories of the otherworldly spirits while they sleep. As such, you are immune to spells and other magical effects that require you to dream, like dream, but not spells and other magical effects that put you to sleep, like sleep. We speak Common, Quarry, and one other language of our choice. Mind Link can telepathically speak to any creature within a number of feet of you equal to 10 times your level. Well, that's changed. I think it used to be 30 feet, maybe 60 feet. But now, you can go up to 200 feet if you get to level 20. You don't need to share a language for it to be able to stand, but it has to understand at least one language. When you use the trait to speak telepathically, you can use your action to give them the ability to speak telepathically with you for 1 hour, or until you end this effect. To use it, they must be able to see you within the trait's range. You can gain this ability with only one creature at a time. Giving it to a creature takes it away from another creature who has it. That's pretty good. It used to be a bonus action would allow them to reply. But now, you use your action, and then for an hour you have comms with someone in your head. And it would seem that to use the ability, they must be able to see you and be within the trait's range. You could rule it, whereas that is to use this ability is to give it the ability to reply, and then you could leave the range and it would still be active, or they can't talk to you that way unless they can see you and are within range, as well as you can only let them reply if you can see them and are within range. You also get advantage on all wisdom saving throws due to your dual mind, which is phenomenal, and it makes great sense due to the fact you have a spirit inside of you, which is a fact that doesn't get played up very often, and in my character that I've made, isn't being played up a great deal, but the spirit inside and me are mostly merged at this point. My character, Gert, Paladin, loves yogurt, Oath of Yogurt, Oath of Heroism, but through yogurt, and the noble spirit inside aligns very closely to Gert's philosophies, and so they don't really disagree very much. So they don't need to talk to each other very much because they just think the same sort of thoughts. Mental discipline gives you a resistance to psychic damage. You get +2 to wisdom and +1 to charisma. Wisdom, not wisma. They age at the same rate as humans. They tend towards lawful and good behavior and are often strongly self-disciplined, but some Kalashtar resist the virtuous influence. So that's pretty cool. Then we have the orcs with some pretty cool artwork. Shifters, forgot to mention them. So we have shifter names, which are usually after parts of nature, such as Badger, Bear, Cat, Fang, Grace, Grim, Moon, Rain, Red, Scar, Stripe, Swift, Talon, and Wolf. They reach adulthood at about 10, but rarely live to be older than 70. Alignment, their size medium. Base walking speed is 30 feet. 60-foot dark vision. Shifting, bonus action, 1 minute or until you die, or revert to your normal appearance with a bonus action. When you shift, you gain temporary hit points equal to your level plus con mod. You also gain additional benefits depending on the sub-race. Once you shift, you can't do so again until you finish a short or long rest. So once per short rest isn't great, especially considering it only lasts for a minute. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that part. But let's look at the sub-races. Beast Hide, con by 2, strength by 1, proficiency in athletics, and whilst shifted, you gain an additional d6 temporary hit points and a +1 to AC. That's pretty good, but again, it's only for a minute. Longtooth, strength by 2, dex by 1, intimidation, and while you can use an unarmed strike as a bonus, if you hit with your fangs, you do piercing damage equal to 1d6 plus strength. Okay? Swift Stride, dex by 2, charisma by 1, graceful, you gain the proficiency in acrobatics. While shifted, your walking speed increases by 10 feet, and additionally you can move up to 10 feet by as a reaction when a creature ends its turn within 5 feet of you, and the reactive movement doesn't provoke opportunity attacks. Wild Hunt, wisdom by 2, dexterity by 1. Get proficiency in survival. While shifted, you have advantage on wisdom checks, and no creature within 30 feet of you can make an attack roll with advantage against you unless you're incapacitated. That's good. That's very good. That's very, very, very good. But it only lasts for a minute, once per short rest, so it's really a sort of when you want to use it type deal. It's like a boss fight thing. Warforged now. Pierce was built by design, while you were built by accident, Lakashtai said. The soul is what matters, not the shape of the vessel. What makes you think he has a soul? Garyon said. What makes you think you do? Keith Baker, The Shattered Land. I'm interested in reading the Eberron books that Keith Baker's written, or co-written, or whatever. The Warforged were built to fight in the last war. The first were mindless automatons. House Cannith devoted vast resources to improving them. Unexpected breakthrough produced sapient soldiers, giving rise to what some have grudgingly accepted as a new species. Made from wood and metal but can feel pain and emotion, built as weapons, they must now find a purpose beyond the war. They're living steel and stone, formed from a blend of organic and inorganic materials. Root-like cords infused with alchemical fluids serve as their muscles, wrapped around a framework of steel, darkwood, or stone. Armored plates form a protective outer shell and reinforced joints. Warforged share a common facial design with a hinged jaw and crystal eyes embedded beneath a reinforced brow ridge. Beyond these common elements of Warforged design, the precise materials and build of a Warforged vary depending on the purpose. Their personality they typically show little emotion, but some and many embrace a concrete purpose. Okay, cool. You get some quirks, but we have the names. They're usually given to them or related to their purpose, such as anchor, banner, bastion, blade, blue, bow, cart, church, crunch, crystal, dagger, dent, five, glaive, hammer, iron, lucky, mace, oak, onyx, pant, pierce, red, rod, rusty, scout, seven, shield, slash, smith, spike, temple, vault, wall, or in my case, swing! So Warforged traits, con by 2, and one other ability score of your choice by 1. A typical Warforged is between 2 and 30, but no one knows how old they can go due to the fact that they are, they've only been made to fight in the war. You are immune to magical aging effects. That's useful. Base walking speed is 30 feet. Constructed resilience. Advantage on saving throws against being poisoned. Resistance to poison damage. You don't need to eat, drink, or breathe. Immune to disease. You don't need to sleep, and magic can't put you to sleep. That's interesting. It used to be you were immune to poison as well, I believe. But I will have to change that on swing. Advantage against being poisoned and resistance to poison. Sentry's rest, 6 hours in an inactive, motionless state. You appear inert, but doesn't render you unconscious. You can still see and hear as normal. Integrated protection. Your body has built-in defensive layers. You gain +1 to AC. You can don only armor with which you have proficiency. To don the armor, you must incorporate it into your body, of course, 1 hour. Oh, this is a big change. And I think I might like it. To don the armor, you must 1 hour, during which you must remain in contact with the armor. To doff the armor, and spend an hour removing it. You can rest while donning or doffing armor in this way. While you live, your armor can't be removed from your body against your will. Specialized design. You gain 1 skill proficiency and 1 tool proficiency of your choice, and you can speak, read, and write common and 1 other language. That's pretty good, I've got to say. The integrated protection, I think, is great. I do like the way that it worked before, but I think this is better. The fact that they couldn't wear armor bothered me, because, why not? And it takes away a large portion of the magic item gambling game of, do I wear this armor for resistance to acid damage but a lower AC when we go to fight the Black Dragon, or do I wear this armor for higher AC but not with the resistance to the acid damage, or whatever. But yeah, I'm going to have to send this stuff to one of my players because they are playing a Warforged in my campaign. But I do like this. I'm proficient in light and medium armor. Don't think I'm proficient in heavy armor in my game. But I can make... yeah, I can say that I had armor anyway. It would make sense considering my AC has been high this whole time. That's very interesting, but I do prefer that. I definitely prefer that, because you get a bit of the specialized design, which allows you to sort of pick what sort of Warforged you would be. I don't. I miss the fact that there were sub races. There was the Juggernaut one where you got unarmed strike damage as you had a big metal fist that just hit things. But I'm a big proponent for unarmed strike damage, so yeah. So next up we have the Dragon Marks. The Dragon Marks, we have the Mark of Detection, the Mark of Detection, which is available for half-elves. We have the Mark of Finding, available for humans and half-orcs. The Mark of Handling, available for humans. Healing, halflings. Hospitality, halflings. Making, humans. Passage, humans. Scribing, gnomes. Sentinel, human. Shadow, elf. or other elf from a different house, because each of these has different houses and guilds associated with it as well, but I feel as though that's less important than the racial thing, because the houses and guild specialities aren't going to be applicable outside of Eberron. Of course, your DM can lift the racial restrictions as well, if they want, but yeah. Storm is half-elf, Warding is dwarf. So we have pictures of the marks. I'm pretty sure they are unchanged from the previous thing. Dragon marks have quirks. They can be unusually small or faint, exceptionally large, appear somewhere else on your body whenever you finish your long rest. Emits a dim light for 5 foot radius for 10 minutes whenever you use it. It tingles and changes colour for a moment when you're within 10 feet of someone with the same mark. When you use your dragon mark, it animates and adopts the appearance of your dragon marked house's emblem for 1 minute. Your dragon mark is an unusual colour, or it changes size whenever you use it. So, we now have a description of the marks. Starting with the mark of detection and House Madani. We have the variant half-elf with the mark of detection. Your wisdom score increases by 2, and one other ability score increases by 2. You get deductive intuition. Whenever you make an intelligence, investigation, or wisdom insight check, you can roll a d4 and add the number to the roll. Add the number rolled to the ability check. Magical detection. You can cast detect magic and detect poison and disease spells with this trait. Starting at 3rd level, you can also cast the invisibility spell. Once you cast any of these spells with this trait, you can't cast that spell with it again until you finish a long rest. Intelligence is your spellcasting modifier, and you don't require material components. And then spells of the mark. If you have the spellcasting or pact magic feature, the spells of the mark of detection table are added to your spell list. So for mark of detection, you have detect good and evil, detect poison and disease at 1st level. 2nd spell level, you have detect thoughts and find traps. 3rd is clairvoyance and non-detection. 4th is arcane eye and divination, and 5th is legend lore. Following which we have the mark of founding and house Tharashk. Variant half-orc or human. Mark of finding. Wisdom by 2, con by 1. Dark vision 60 feet. Hunter's intuition. Perception or survival check, d4 to add to it. Finder's magic, you can cast Hunter's mark with it. Starting at 3rd level, you can also cast locate objects with it. You can only cast them once per long rest. Wisdom is the spellcasting thing. You can speak, read, and write common and goblin. And your spells of the mark, if you are a caster, are Fairy, Fire, and Longstrider, locate animals or plants, locate object, clairvoyance and speak with plants, divination and locate creature, and commune with nature. Following which we have the mark of handling and the mark of healing. So, that mark of handling is House Vidalis. Variant human mark of handling. It is wisdom by 2 and one other one by 1. Wild intuition, wisdom, and intelligence. You get to add a d4. Primal connection. You can cast animal friendship and speak with animals without requiring material components. Once you cast them, you can't do it again until the long rest. Wisdom is your spellcasting modifier. At 3rd level, you can target a beast or monstrosity when you cast animal friendship or speak with animals, provided its intelligence is 3 or lower. That's good, because monstrosities are way more common than beasts, especially when you get to like level 3, because I think the highest challenge rating for a beast is challenge rating 8, and that's rare. Then spells are animal friendship and speak with animals, beast sense and calm emotions, beacon of hope and conjure animals, aura of life and dominate beast, and awaken. Mark of handling and House Jurasco has a halfling subrace, mark of healing, wisdom score increases by 1, medical intuition, so medicine check and ability checks to use a herbalism kit, get the d4 to add to it. You can cast cure wounds and at 3rd level restoration once per long rest. Wisdom is your spellcasting modifier. You get cure wounds, healing word. You get lesser restoration, prayer of healing, aura of vitality, mass healing word, aura of purity, aura of life, and greater restoration through that mark of healing spells. Then we have mark of hospitality and the mark of making. I'm liking it so far. I feel as though them being background sub-racy things is better than feats, due to the fact that you can start with one without having to be variant human, but they are restricted to races, which is something that I would lift if I was running the game. I would knock out the racial restriction, but I would almost certainly keep the house restriction. So the Mark of Hospitality is for halflings. You get charisma increased by 1, persuasion checks, or brewers or supplies, or cooks utensils. So you get 3 sets. You get to add the d4. Innkeeper's magic, prestidigitation, and can also cast Purify Food and Drink and Unseen Servant. With the trait, once you cast either of them, you can't do it again until you finish a long rest. Charisma is your spellcasting modifier. If you have spellcasting or pack magic feature, the spells of hospitality table are added. We get good berry and sleep. We get aid and calm emotions. We get create food and water and Leoman's tiny hut. We get aura of purity, Mordecai's private sanctum, and hallow. I do like hallow. Brilliant spell. Especially because if you are a halfling divination wizard, you can now cast hallow, which is great because it's previously, I believe, cleric only. Maybe paladins get it, but otherwise I think it's cleric only. And hallow is one of my favourite divine spells, so I'm glad they get it. The Mark of Making, House Cannith, which, is home of the Artificer, really. Intelligence by 2 and 1 other ability score by Juan whenever you make an Arcana check or any involving artisan's tools, which is insane because that includes brewers and cooks' utensils. You get to add a d4. Maker's Gift, you gain proficiency with 1 type of artificer's tool. You learn the Mending cantrip and can cast magic weapon with this trait. When you do so, it lasts for 1 hour, doesn't require concentration. Once you cast the spell with this trait, you can't do it again until you finish a long rest. So that one specifically says it lasts for an hour. I assume it usually lasts for a minute and is concentration, but this way it lasts an hour and isn't concentration. Intelligence is your spellcasting modifier. But you also, if you are a spellcaster, you also get to identify Tensor's Floating Disc, Continual Flame, Magic Weapon, Conjure Barrage, Elemental Weapon, Fabricate, Stone Shape, and Creation. Okay, that's pretty good. Mark of Passage and the Mark of Scribing. Okay, House Orion, variant human Mark of Passage, dex by 2 and 1 other by 1. Courage speed, your base walking speed increases to 35 feet. Pretty sure in the Unearthed Arcana it went up to 40. Intuitive Motion, Dexterity Acrobatics check, or any operation of a land vehicle check, you get a d4 to add to it. Magical Passage is Misty Step once with the trait. That used to be you could teleport a distance equal to your movement speed once per, I think, short or long rest to somewhere that you can see. I think I preferred that than this Misty Step. And your spellcasting feature things are Expeditious Retreat, Jump, Misty Step, Pass Without Trace, Blink, Phantom Steed, Dimension Door, Freedom of Movement, and Teleportation Circle. Okay. Mark of Scribing and House Civis has Charisma increased by 1. It's a Gnome subrace. Gifted Scribe, Intelligence, History check, or Calligrapher's supplies, get the d4. Scribe's Insight, message, and can also cast Comprehend Languages, starting once per short or long rest, short or long. And at 3rd level you can cast Magic Mouth once per long rest. Intelligence is your spellcasting modifier if you are a spellcaster. You also get Comprehend Languages and Illusory Script, Animal Messenger and Silence, Sending and Tongues, Arcane Eye, Confusion, and Dream. Okay, then we have Mark of Sentinel and Shadow. The Mark of Sentinel is House Denith, which is variant human. Mark of Sentinel, Con by 2, Wisdom by 1. Sentinel's Intuition, Wisdom, Insight, and Perception, you get the d4. You can cast Shield once with this trait per long rest. Wisdom is your spellcasting ability. Vigilant Guardian. When a creature you can see within 5 feet of you is hit by an attack, or you can use your action to swap places with that creature and you are hit by the attack instead, once per long rest. If you are a spellcaster, you also get Compelled Duel, Shield of Faith, Warding Bond, Zone of Truth, Counterspell, Protection from Energy, Death Ward, Guardian of Faith, and Bigsby's Hand. Pretty good stuff. Then we have the Mark of Shadow, which is the Houses of Shadow. It's an elf subrace. Charisma goes up by 1. Whenever you make a performance or stealth check, you get to add the d4. You know minor illusion cantrip, and at 3rd level you can cast invisibility once per long rest. Charisma is your spellcasting ability, and if you are a spellcaster, you get disguise self, silent image, darkness, pass without a trace, clairvoyance, major image, greater invisibility, which is good, hallucinatory terrain, and mislead. I'm not familiar with mislead. I have to look that one up. Then we have even more, but we've got to be reaching the end now because we've hit W with the Mark of Storm and the Mark of Warding. The Mark of Storm is House Lyrandar. Oh, this one's variant half elf. You get Charisma by 2, Dex by 1, Windright's Intuition. Whenever you make a Dex acrobatics check or any check involving Navigator's tools, add a d4. You have resistance to lightning damage. That's the first one with resistance, which is pretty good. You know the Gust cantrip, and starting at 3rd level you can cast Gust of Wind once per long rest. Charisma is your spellcasting thing. The Gust cantrip is included in the thing. That's pretty cool. Gus Transmutation cantrip. 1 medium or small creature must be within 30 feet, must succeed on a strength save, or be pushed up to 5 feet away from you. Or you can create a small blast of air capable of moving one object that is neither held nor carried that weighs no more than 5 pounds. The object is pushed up to 10 feet away from you. It isn't pushed with enough force to cause damage. Or you create a harmless sensory effect using the air, such as causing leaves to rustle, wind to slam shutters closed, or your clothing to billow impressively in a breeze. Clothing billow impressively in a breeze, anyone? I think so. But yeah, the Mark of Storm spells, if you are a caster, are Featherfall and Fog Cloud, Gust of Wind and Levitate, Sleep Storm and Windwall, Conjure Minor Elemental and Control Water, and Conjure Elemental. Moving on. The Mark of Warding is House Kundarak. The Dwarf subrace, Mark of Warding. Intelligence goes up by 1. Warder's Intuition. Whenever you make an investigation check or a check using Thieves' Tools, add a d4. Wards and Seals. You can cast Alarm and Mage Armor with this trait. It doesn't say once per rest. That's very good. Especially for like a rogue. No armor. Picture this. You got your Thieves' Tools. You got your no armor. You're just a rogue. You're just walking around. You got your Thieves' Tools like sewn on the inside of your clothes. And you're like, oh my god, I gotta go in here. Let me investigate. Oh, it's locked. Let me just pick that lock. Oh, I done. Oh no, I'm under attack. Mage armor. That's very good. Especially because you can cast Alarm behind you as well. Okay, no, it does say that later on. Still, Mage Armor lasts a long time. It was 8 hours, I think. But anyway, starting at 3rd level, you can also cast Arcane Lock. Once you cast any of them with it, you can't do again. Can't do so again until you finish a long rest. Intelligence is your spellcasting ability. If you are a spellcaster anyway, you get Alarm, Armor of Agathis, Arcane Lock, Knock, Glyph of Warding, Magic Circle, Leomund's Secret Chest, Mordecai's Faithful Hound, and Anti-Life Shell. All of which are pretty good spells, really. Apart from Magic Circle. And Leomund's Secret Chest. But for the most part, they're pretty good. Mark of Warding, I quite like. Especially, like... It's not bad for a wizard. I mean, you get spells anyway. You get a lot of those spells anyway as a wizard. But you get Armor of Agathis, which is Warlock only. Then there are the Aberrant Dragon Marks, which is a feat. 12 are predictable, their powers are generally constructive, but there are other kinds which are dangerous. So let's have a look at the feat of the Aberrant Dragon Mark. Prerequisite is you don't have a different dragon mark. You have manifested an Aberrant Dragon Mark. Determine its appearance and a flaw associated with it. You gain the following benefits. Your con score goes up by 1 to a max of 20. You learn a cantrip of your choice from the Sorcerer's spell list. In addition, a 1st level spell from the Sorcerer's spell list. You learn that spell and can cast it through your mark. Once you cast it, you must finish a short or long rest before you cast it again through the mark. Constitution is your spellcasting ability. Hot dang. That's good.
When you cast the first level spell through your mark, you can expend one of your hit die and roll it. If you roll an even number, you gain a number of temporary hit points equal to the number rolled. If you roll an odd number, one random creature within 30 feet of you, not including you, takes force damage equal to the number rolled. If there are no other creatures in range, you take the damage. You also develop a table where we have your mark is a source of constant physical pain. Your mark whispers to you. Its meanings can be unclear. That one's got to suck for the DM. When you're stressed, the mark hisses audibly. Also not great for the DM. Depending on how it gets roleplayed. The skin around the mark is burned, scaly, or withered. Animals are uneasy around you. You have mood swing at any time you use your mark. Your looks change slightly whenever you use your mark. Or you have horrific nightmares after you use your mark. Not a bad feat. I do like it. Sorcerer spells. And con is your thing for it. So that way, barbarians, fighters, and such, they can worry less about having a high usage, a high DC or spell attack bonus for whatever spells they choose. But there is the option for greater aberrant powers. At the DM's option, a character who has an aberrant dragon-like feature has the chance of manifesting greater power upon reaching 10th level. Such a character has a 10% chance of gaining an epic boon. Oh my lord! From the option in Chapter 7 of the Dungeon Master's Guide. If the character fails to gain the boon, they have a 10% chance that the next time they gain a level. If the character gains a boon, the DM chooses it or determines it randomly. The character also permanently loses one of their hit dice, and the hit point maximum is reduced by an amount equal to the roll on the dice plus their con modifier, minimum reduction of 1. This reduction can't be reversed by any means. That is good, because the epic boons are phenomenal, especially like for level 10. Like one of them is you just choose to not take damage from one instance of damage. Just no. Then there is you can cast. You get to pick a first level spell and cast it at will, provided you know it, or something like that. Which is like the level 16 or whatever wizard feature, I think. It's insane. So far, that's my favourite bit. The Kalishtar are pretty much exactly the same, though I do like the change to Mind Link because you now get comms rather than having to constantly use up bonus actions. And the Warforged being able to wear armour is something that I'm quite happy about as well. But we now have to go to the Artificer, which is on page 54. So, I'm not going to go through this in too much detail, but this is the Artificer. There's the Artificer table. So, the whole spell slot situation seems to be the same still. It's a half caster. It's what you'd expect. The magical tinkering looks the same. Light and medium armor with shields. Artificer spell list, pretty much the same as far as I can see for the most part. Might have more cantrips available to it now though. Infuse item is at 2nd level. Tool expertise, proficiency bonus is doubled, but you don't have advantage for the Tinker's tools, for tool checks. Provided you have Tinker's tools in hand, you can magically create a set of Artisan's tools. That's pretty good. Ability score improvements, you get 5 of them. Flash of Genius at 7th level. This is something that I looked up. You gain the ability to come up with solutions under pressure. When you or another creature you can see within 30 feet, if you makes an ability check or a saving throw, you can use your reaction to add your intelligence modifier to the roll. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier with a minimum of once, and regain all of them on a short rest. Okay, so at max you can do it 5 times unless you get magic items to take you above 20 intelligence. But for important rolls, that is going to be clutch. Say someone rolls out a counter spell and they have to roll like against a 9th level spell, and they're a low level, you like levels, I don't know,
5. That's when you get level 3 spells, I think. Say level 7, because that's what level you are. They, even if they are the Abjuration Wizard who gets to add their intelligence modifier, I don't think they can do it at that level. Not their intelligence modifier, their proficiency bonus. Whew. So they just roll and add their intelligence. You get to add your intelligence as well. And they might have bardic inspiration from some other person. It's a good combo. And it makes Bartificer? Artilliard? I don't know. A pretty cool little combo. Magic item adept, you can attune 4 magic items at level 10. If you craft magic items, it takes you a quarter of the normal times and costs you half as much gold. Spell storing item at level 11. Okay, that one was part of the Wand Slinger, which is no longer part of the thing. Oh, there was a stick on it. I have a map! Another map! I missed this! Oh my god! I'm gonna have to take that out at some point, if it detaches. I assume it does. Anyway. Magic item Savant at level 14. You can have up to 5 and ignore all class, race, spell, and level requirements to attune or use a magic item. At level 18, you can attune up to 6, and at level 20, you get a +1 to all saving throws per magic item you're currently attuned to. If you reduce to 0 hit points but not killed outright, you can use your reaction to end one of your infusions, and thus cause you to infusions, not attunements, causing you to drop to 1 instead of 0. That's good, because that means, well, I don't know how many attunements do you have at that point. Let's look at the table. 6. Okay, yeah, that's fair. So we have Alchemist, which I'm not super interested in. You get an Experimental Lictor, Alchemical Savant, Restorative Agent, Chemical Mastery. Fair enough. You can cast Greater Restoration and Heal without expending a spell slot, without preparing the spell, and without material opponents, provided you use Alchemist supplies. Okay, cool. It's not a bad one, but it doesn't interest me. It is the healer of Artificer, it would seem, though. The Artillerist now does interest me, whereas before it didn't really. So you get Shield, Thunderwave, Scorching Ray, Shatter, Fireball, Wind Wall, Ice Storm, Wall of Fire, Cone of Cold, Wall of Force. And you get Eldritch Cannons, which can be a Flamethrower, which is a 15-foot cone. They make a dex save, or take 2d8 fire damage, or halved if they succeed. Fire ignites any flammable objects that aren't being worn or carried. A Force Blister, which is a ranged spell attack up to 120 feet. On a hit, they take 2d8 force damage, and if the target's a creature, it can be pushed up to 5 feet away. It is pushed 5 feet away from the cannon. Or a Protector in its burst of positive energy that increases, that gives any creature of my choice within 10 feet of it a number of temporary hit points equal to 1d8 plus my intelligence modifier, which is okay, but it doesn't stack. You get 1. At a high level, you get a second one. The Mending spell heals it. It disappears if it's reduced to 0 hit points after 1 hour. Is it an action? Yes, it is. 1 action to make 1. You can only have 1 available at a time. Okay. Does it say how many times you can do it? When you create a determine its appearance and whether it has legs, it can be medium and like walk around and whatnot. No, it can be small or tiny, within 5 feet of me. Okay, a small one has its own space that it occupies. You can command it as a bonus action to, provided I'm within 60 feet of it. If it's got legs, it can go up to 15 feet, and it includes climbing. 5th level, you get Arcane Firearm, so you can turn a wand, staff, or rod into a firearm, a conduit for your destructive spells. When you finish a long rest, you can use woodcarver's tools to carve special sigils into it. Turn it into an Arcane Firearm. The sigils disappear from the object if you later carve them on a different item. The sigils otherwise last indefinitely. You can use it as a spellcasting focus for artificer spells, and when you cast one through it, you can roll a d8 and gain a bonus to the spell's damage roll equal to the number rolled. Good stuff. Explosive Cannon!
The cannon's damage rolls are increased by 1d8 at level 9, and as an action you can command the cannon to detonate if you're within 60 feet of it. Doing so destroys the cannon, force every creature within 20 feet to make a dex save, or take 3d8 force damage on a failed save, half on a success. And a fortified position, you and your allies have half cover while within 10 feet of your cannon, and you can now have 2 cannons. That's level 15. See, that is what I think Swing would make more sense to be. However, he uses big axe and has low strength, so it now makes sense unless he is Battlesmith, as you will soon see, because you get Battle Ready. You gain proficiency in martial weapons, and when you make an attack with a magic weapon, you can use your intelligence modifier instead of strength or dexterity modifier for attack and damage rolls. You get Steel Defender, which I think hasn't been improved. Might of the Master. Action. This requires your bonus action. Force Empowered Rend. That's still not great. Deflect attack, reaction. Impose a disadvantage. Okay. Extra attack, you can attack twice. Makes sense. Oh! That's gone. From the standard basic Battlesmith, the standard Artificer used to, at level 5, be able to get a second attack with magic items by using the magic in the item to propel it forward. But no, you don't anymore. That's very interesting, and I think it's required for the Battlesmith to retain usefulness as a DPS thing when put up against the Artillerist, because the Artillerist, as a bonus action, well, you can use that action to summon 2 cannons, and then use their bonus action to fire both cannons, each one doing up to 3d8 damage. And then their next turn, they can use their wand or staff or whatever to cast a spell as their action, which will do an extra d8 damage, whatever the spell is. And then as their bonus action, fire both cannons. So that's 7d8 minimum plus whatever the normal spell damage is, which is pretty good, provided they hit, of course. The arcane... The Steel Defender gets Arcane Jolt, but it's not great. It's still better than Beastmaster, though. And then you can make a bunch of stuff, which are the Artificer infusions. Enhanced Arcane Focus makes it +1 and stuff. That's pretty cool. I'll probably want that if I'm allowed to swap him out to Artillerist. Enhanced Weapon, Radiant Weapon, Repeating Shot, which is amazing. Replicate magic items. Ooh, Arm Blade, detailed in Chapter 5. I will need to look at that. Bag of Holding, etc. When you get to 6th level, you can do pretty much the same things. And a Wand Sheath, detailed in level 5. Replica magic items when you get to 10th level. They seem to be pretty much the same. Medallion of Thoughts, you get a Ventilating Lung, which is detailed in Chapter 5. And 14th level, Arcane Propulsion Arm, detailed in Chapter 5. Belt of Hill Giant Strength, Braces Defense, Dimensional Shackles. I need a drink. Then again, I've been talking for the last 52 minutes. So. Repulsion Shield, 4 charges whilst holding it. Can use reaction immediately after being hit in melee to push the attacker up to 15 feet away. It regains 1d3, 4 charges at dawn. Resistant armor and a returning weapon. Cool. Right, that leaves just one thing left to look at, and that is Treasure, Chapter 5, page 275. Ooh, map. Yay! I've not gone far enough yet, though. 275. We have treasures. Okay, Arcane Propulsion Arm, very rare, wondrous item, prosthetic appendage, developed by artisans of House Cannith. The prosthetic is fully capable part of your body. You can take an action to remove it, and it removes itself if your attunement ends. Can't be removed against your will. Prosthetic is a magic melee weapon. 1d8 force damage on hit. Has the thrown property with normal range of 20, long range of 60. When thrown, attaches and flies at the target, then immediately returns and reattaches. Arm Blade, one-handed melee weapon. Common, requires attunement by a Warforged. Bonus action, you can retract it into their forearm or extend it from there. That's pretty cool. It comes inseparable as long as you're attuned. Doesn't say what it does. Whilst extended, you can use it as if you were holding it. So it is just any. It says any one-handed melee weapon. Cool. Belashira's Beholder Crown, wondrous item that's legendary. You can see magic and non-magical darkness, 120 feet, and no wonder it's legendary. Spells, 10 charges. You can cast Charm Person, Disintegrate, Fear, Finger of Death, Flesh to Stone, Hold Person, Raven, Enfeeblement, Sleep, Slow, and Telekinesis. Symbiotic nature can't be removed whilst you're attuned, and you can't voluntarily end your attunement. Okay. Ooh, it bonds with your skull. Ugh. If you're targeted by a spell that ends a curse, your attunement ends and it detaches from you. Ugh. Creepy. Cleansing Stone. I don't know why you would want to get rid of it though. Yeah, it seems alright. Okay. Cleansing Stone. 1 foot diameter sphere engraved with mystic sigils. Touching it, you can activate it and remove dirt and grime from your garments and persons. Such stones are often embedded in pedestals in public squares. Okay, cool. Docent, wondrous item that's rare. A docent is a small metal sphere, 2 inches across, studded with dragon shards. To attune, you must embed the item somewhere on your body, such as chest or eye socket. Sentience. A docent is a sentient item of any alignment with an intelligence of 16, wisdom of 14, and charisma of 14. It perceives the world through your senses and communicate with you telepathically. Life support. When you end your turn with 0 hit points, the docent makes a wisdom medicine check with +6. If the check succeeds, it stabilizes you. Has the following properties: knows common, giant, and 1d4 additional languages chosen by the DM. If the docent knows fewer than 6 languages, it can learn a new language after it hears or reads the language through your senses. The docent has +7 to one of the following skills. Roll a d4. Arcana, History, Investigation, or Nature. I like this. Spells. The docent knows one of the following spells. It can cast it at will, requiring no components. Roll a d6. 1 or 2 is Detect Evil or Good. 3 to 6 is Detect Magic. The docent decides when to cast a spell. Personality. Docent is designed to advise and assist the Warforged it's attached to. So it requires attunement by a Warforged specifically. Okay. Dieren's Tentacle Whip. +2 weapon. Deals an extra d6 psychic damage. When you roll a crit, the target is stunned until the end of its next turn. As a bonus action, you can sheath it by causing it to retract into your arm or draw the whip out of your arm again. Symbiotic nature can't be voluntarily unattuned and detached. Okay? An earworm. I'm just going to skip that. That sounds creepy. Everbright Lantern, Feather Token, Finder's Goggles, Glamour Weave. Is clothing imbued with harmless illusion magic? Glamour Weave. Imbued Wood Focus. Okay. Oh. It's common. You cast a damage dealing spell. +1 to the damage roll of the spell, provided the okay, that's pretty cool. Obviously, fire and lightning are going to be best here. Oh, and cold. Because you get a +1 to the damage roll. Key Charm. Ooze as a magic item. Living Armor requires attunement. Very rare. Any armor. Okay. Oh, damn, that's pretty good. Resistance to necrotic poison and psychic whilst attuned to it. But it has tendrils that burrow inside of you. Living Gloves. Again, tendrils. Well, it doesn't say tendrils, I don't think. But they do bond with your skin. Fair. Orb of Shielding. Prosthetic Limb. Artificial limb. Replacing body part. Okay. So they're just magically attached and functional prosthetics. Scribe's Pen. Shift Weave.
When a sort of shift weave is created, up to 5 different outfits can be embedded. Okay, it's just shape-shifting clothes. A speaking stone, which is, I'm assuming, a phone. Yeah, it's a texting thing as far as I can see from that quick thing. A spell shard. You can hold the equivalent of one book that is no more than 320 pages long. The shard can be created blank or already filled with information. Nice. Ventilating lungs. Wondrous item rare. To replace the lungs in your chest. Okay, when you attune to it, your normal lungs disappear. Okay, they can't be suppressed by magic, so that's good. Outside of an anti-magic these lungs allow you to breathe normally in any environment, and you gain advantage on all saving throws against harmful gases, such as those created by clouds, kill, or stinking cloud, inhaled poisons, and gaseous breath weapons. As an action, you can use the gungs to exhale a gust of wind, as if you'd cast the gust of wind spell, DC 15, no components, once per day, can't be used till the next dawn, yada yada yada. If your attunement to the lungs ends, your original lungs reappear. Okay, that's useful. That's nice to know. That once you've attuned to them, you don't have to then be attuned to them forever, lest you die because you have no lungs. A wand sheath can't be removed from you whilst you're attuned to it. You can insert your wand into the sheath as an action. It holds only one wand at a time. It can retract or extend the wand from the sheath as a bonus action. Whilst it's extended, you can use it as if you are holding it, but your hand remains free. If sheath wand requires attunement, you can attune to the wand before you use it. However, the wand sheath and the attached wand count as a single magic item with regard to the magic items you can attune. If you remove it from the sheath, you must attune your attunement to the wand. Oh, that's good. That's very nice. Wheel of Wind and Water. Okay, cool. Everyday magic items. You can create the common magic items. Spell scroll, cantrip takes 8 hours and 15 gold. Potion of healing is 8 hours and 25 gold. Any other common magic item is 32 hours and 50 gold. That I'm a big fan of. Yeah. That I can work with, because this is for with a dragon shard, but yeah, this seems more reasonable, because spending 8 hours doing something is a long time. Anyway, crafting complications and rules for that. Okay, I'm a big fan. I've been talking about it for an hour, reading through it. I'm a bit iffy about a couple of changes, but yeah, I've got a lot to talk about with my DM. I would highly recommend the book so far. I'm going to send pictures and stuff to people, say that I game with, saying, hey, there's this and there's this, can we look at that? And I think that this would be cool if we could incorporate this into this game because of this, and this world makes sense because of these and all of that. But who knows? Yes, I think it's definitely worth it. I still would have preferred if I got the alternate cover, but whatever. The Warforged are better now, I think. But they really should incorporate something for the fisticuffs. I hope that they do an extension thing where they incorporate feats for races of monstrous races and Eberron races, because there are feats for races for the races in the player's handbook, but there aren't feats for races. Well, I say there are. They might be in Xanathar's. Yes, they are in Xanathar's. But there aren't feats for races in Volos and this, Eberron, Rising from the Last War. So I feel as though that would be good. And like I hope they come out with some sub races for some things, like coming out with sub races for things like Warforged and Kalashtar that don't have sub races might make them a bit powerful. But they could do what they did with Tieflings and say, in order to take this subclass, you need to lose this section of your standard subclass, subrace, with your standard race. That I could definitely get on board with. But I'm a big fan. Thoroughly recommend it so far. Just first impressions. It's a beautiful book. Most of the art I like a lot. Some of the art I like a bit less. But, like, look at that. That is phenomenal. I'm looking forward to getting a chance to go through it more in my own time. But yes. Oh, I'm definitely looking forward to incorporating so much of it into my campaign. Like, Eberron, I've been waiting ever since I started playing Dungeons and Dragons. Sort of after the first session, I looked into it. I was like, what's this Warforged and Kalashtar and Changelings and Shifters? What is this? And I looked into it and I thought, this is great. But what do you think about Eberron Rising from the Last War? Any rule things that you think that could do with some clarification? Because I've already made up in my mind from everything I've read how I would rule almost everything that could come up that's come to mind so far, and it seems to make a lot of sense. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go because my throat is now wrecked. But I will catch you cats on the flip-flop. Goodbye.